Welcome to All Pro Football Data. My name is Jim Coburn, and today's episode, we're talking about Jatavion Sanders, tight end out of Texas. We're going to be evaluating him based on his production profile and other statistical factors to kind of see where he profiles in this particular draft class in the tight ends. Without further ado, let's get to his production data. So first off, offensive market share data. Pause the video real quick if you are not familiar with this, but this is how I get those numbers. Now, in terms of his receiving market share data, he had an 84 percentile in terms of that particular area, 82 percentile in terms of total offensive market share, and 75 percentile in terms of touchdown market share. These numbers are fairly decent. They hit pretty much within the Pro Bowl to starter range in terms of his overall production, which is a positive for him. Taking a look at his tight end efficiency scores, efficiency deals with, regardless of his production, was he efficient with the football in his hands? Did he get a lot of yards per reception, I should say? Did he get a lot of yards per touchdowns? Or I should say, did he get a lot of touchdowns per touches? These are kind of what efficiency scores deal with. And when you take a look at his efficiency scores, he was 58 percentile in terms of his receiving or yards per reception score, and then 52 percentile in terms of touchdown percentage. These numbers are decent, not great. He doesn't really hit the Pro Bowl averages or the All-Pro averages, but definitely hits pretty close to the starter averages at the position for him, which I think are some positives for him. Going to mass density athleticism traits. Mass density, you can pause the video real quick to kind of see how I get these scores. But essentially, it's how athletic they are for their size. How large they are, and how athletic they are for how big they are. And based on these numbers, he was 67 percentile in terms of his speed, 67 percentile in terms of flexibility for his size. This is out of 899 tight ends since the 1999 NFL draft class. So athletically speaking, he's closer to a starter than he is an All-Pro or Pro Bowl player. That's the one knock you can really say about him, is he's undersized, and again, his athleticism traits are more so just slightly above average versus elite. Moving on to adjusted production traits. This is the context production area. So how productive was he for his age, his level of competition, and the team that he was on? This is what these numbers kind of look at for Sanders. And when you look at Sanders, he did pretty well. He has a great age score in the 97th percentile, 99th percentile in terms of his MSA rating, and 96th percentile in terms of his pass rating. These are all great numbers to hit at the position and pretty much hit between the All-Pro averages and the starter Pro Bowl averages at the position. So he's a very young prospect who was very productive for his level of competition, and that's something I think that people should not forget in terms of his profile. Going to the players who tested very similar to him, these are all the tight ends that had a similar production profile to Sanders in terms of his NFL kind of comparisons, if you will. Fred Baxter, Bob Moore, and Jared Cook are kind of the closest guys to him in a lot of ways based on his production traits. Not a lot of elite tight ends on this particular list, but definitely a lot of solid, starter types. Moving on to the outlook for Sanders. I think the bottom line is he profiles as a backup to high quality starter long term. The biggest strength to his profile is his age, but he did not test like an elite athlete at the position. He's undersized and will take time to fill out his frame in the NFL, but do not discount Sanders because he does have above average athleticism. So a lot of people have faded Sanders based on his combine performance, saying that he's not really worth what he used to be. But again, these are people that probably were overvaluing him to begin with. He is essentially a starting kind of undersized H-back like tight end in the NFL level. He could find success at the NFL very easily with this profile. So I know a lot of people are kind of discounting him and stuff like that, but his age and how productive he was for his age is something I think you can't just discount. I think he's somebody that he is above average as an athlete. And I think when you take a look at everything in concert with everything else, should he be the top tight end taking this class? No. Should he be the fourth tight end taking this class? Probably not. But at the same time, when you look at his overall profile and what he can kind of bring to the table, I think he's still worth it in that kind of range as a day 2, day 3 guy. And I think if he goes to the right team and the right system, and is able to kind of take to coaching really well, I think you might be surprised at how productive Sanders actually becomes at the NFL level, because there's a lot of really great positives to his game, I think, that you can't ignore. With all that said, thank you guys so much for watching. Please comment below. What are your thoughts on Jatavian Sanders as a prospect in the NFL? Do you like him? Do you think he's terrible? I mean, all these things are definitely things I want to know. Also, check out my Twitter account on X. Also, thank you guys so much for watching. Also, go to my Patreon page, patreon.com/jcoburn, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Peace.